We're gonna start here. So Slimefoot and Squee makes a 1/1 sapling when it shows up, and I think when it attacks too, right? Yep, when it swings. And then you sack a sapling when this is in your graveyard. You don't put it to the command zone, and you reanimate it and something that's hopefully really big and scary. I don't like the self-milling approach. I am running Mesmeric Orb though. But like Stitcher Supplier and whatnot, I'm not convinced on too much. Like, there's a chance you just milled and got literally nothing, or it was, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of it. You just mill and then nothing crazy happens from the mill, and I just kind of want to avoid that situation. I think drawing and discarding is a little bit more reliable in terms of putting something in your graveyard. I mean, Mesmeric Orb just passively spams your thing. Same with Altar, so I do like those at least. But it's also hard to put everything in the same deck, like removal, ramp spells, card draw, mill, giant creatures to actually do this, sack outlets to sack your Slimefoot. Like, it's kind of hard to put all of that in the same deck, so I think running the best, like the absolute best of each of those things is probably good enough. I could be wrong, though. I'm also not super sold on the targets to reanimate. I think, honestly, Ulamog probably should be in here. And is, I don't know if it's better than this. It probably is. Milling your opponent on the attack trigger is not the most exciting, but it is like a 10/10 indestructible. So, I don't know. For now, we're just gonna try it like this. So let's see what happens. Breach the Multiverse could come in here as well. It depends how often I'm getting to 7 and 8 mana and stuff. Okay, well, that was a nice draw, I would say. What does this evolve into that I would ever want to evolve into? Kind of like nothing. I feel like there's no genuine thing to evolve into here, so let's just go ahead and do this. We drew Mox, so we can play this, and life is good. Unless it isn't. Alright, opponent has Roxanne and Elish Norn, which a bit annoying. Definitely beatable. Alright, that's a huge draw for dealing with my opponent's stuff. Honestly, they might even concede if I kill this Ornithopter. I think that's worth the attempt. Yeah, I figured. They're just going to concede if I kill it. Alright, so we want red and green. Yep. Turn 2 commander is really good. Especially when it's very annoying to, like, kill Slimefoot because you don't want it to die. Slimefoot is a very scary commander when you leave it alone. It does not need much time. I will always swing. More Saprolings, more Betterer. We swing, yep. I could sack it before they gain a life. Oh, they don't even block? Really? Why not? I don't... Okay. That's an interesting one. I don't hate it. So do I play Nasty End, or do I play this? I think I play this first. Because it just gets rid of this. Yeah, that's fine. Sure, that's hilarious. You get a treasure token when you cast it. I could have got a cheaper spell there, maybe. Oh, we know they just drew this because that was one of the options I had. So we know that they just drew this. That literally dies, so that's a strange attack. I did not expect them to let me kill their commander. That seems utterly insane, but alright. We take that. So, swingies. No, not with that thing, though. I'm going to keep it in the graveyard. I'm going to pay 1. Victimize. Alright, I want to keep the fetch land for Mythweaver Pock. You have a standard Brawl ideal for me to help finalize? Well, sure. Alright, what's in my graveyard? Just that. So, Pock is just a huge issue for a lot of decks, so we're taking the time off to just run that stupid thing out. Let's crack one of these now. Actually, I don't want to. I don't want this to draw cards, so... When does... It's only as a sorcery, okay. Your opponent's creatures... Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay. Well, that is pretty good. It's also pretty big. Again with the trade of Sorin. Why? What is the... Why? Why are we doing this? Breh. I just don't agree, but alright. To each their own. So, we play Forest. We could swing with Pock, it would die, but... I mean, no, that's probably not worth it. Let's play... Again, I don't really like reanimating Grenzo. But maybe I just should. It doesn't require a mana investment. I mean, casting a spell for, like, taxing. I don't know. It's what we're doing, so... Why not actually try doing it? Well, Swords is very good. This is Ward, discard a card. That's actually kind of beneficial with for us. I said with for us. I'm so funny. Yeah, we can actually discard one of these cards for free, essentially. Okay. This doesn't have lifelink, right? Nope. Gilded Lotus. So, a lot of mana for a Sorin deck. Interesting. Can we get a blowout? No blowout. Alright. Yep, it's free because of Grenzo. Yeah, see, this is just Grenzo being good still. Like, it's just still good. Yeah, Grenzo's just so gross. It doesn't even matter if it's free or not. Just absolutely disgusting. Alright, so swing with the... Actually, swing all out. Alright, there goes that. I thought that was an issue anyways. I can just turn this into lands. I don't see why not. Could have just played it as well. I don't know, I don't have to commit a ton of stuff. Oh, I could have had a bunch of lifelink. Whoops. Chat, I'm dumb. I did a dumb. I'm sorry. Don't yell at me. Alright, surely there's no giant 10-10 haste trample double strike in hand that would make me feel like I regret everything. Alright, so we don't regret anything. Take action. Well, funny enough, they actually did make a 10-10 They actually did make a 10-10. We did miss a ton of life there. Definitely a mistake. They have a creature in their hand, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, they don't. Alright, never mind. Let's play... or cast... shoot. Two counters on a creature. We're gonna cast this. Sack a creature. And... do that. Not the most exciting, but... let's play the lands I know about. Weird Sorin having a Sunfall in it. And Gilded Lotus, also kind of weird. Alright, that was probably the best top deck they could have had. It gets rid of my graveyard, and they get to kill Sorin. That was probably the best thing possible. That was unbelievable. Wow. Kind of nuts. Fortunately, it's not really too difficult to recombobulate. Heliod, also kind of nuts, because I can't kill a 10-10. My opponent is top decking out of this world right now. Do I want Mesmeric Orb on the top and to draw it? I think I do. Opponent is just top decking completely out of this world. Yep, alright. We definitely want Mesmeric Orb here. I don't think swinging with that makes sense. Watch me mill, like... okay, well, they were going to draw nothing if I didn't play Mesmeric Orb. Alright, we didn't mill any graveyard stuff. Hey, they drew nothing anyways. Look at that. Alright, so the Sorin flips, and we take 12. Which is not lethal. Oh, no, we take 11. So, Atali, and I guess Sire of Seven Deaths? That feels not terribly useful, honestly. I don't know. It's the best that's in there, so... Lyra. Lyra does not save me from my opponent top decking a land. Does it? Nope. Oh, I think I'm just always dead. Because the sire is tapped. Oh, wait. Nope, yep, I'm always dead. Wow. That's unbelievable. I could have had the... I think I could have held the Gix's command and killed the token. Would have won if I did that. Yep, and the Sorin. The Sorin life miss was just huge, so... There were two things I did wrong. What is this? Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'll take that. Yep. Alright. This is probably a good Chrome Mox Dark Ritual thing, I would argue. Yep. I could Dark Ritual Sire, actually. Is that... This discounts it. It's just almost exactly the same. I think this is about the same. I just like the effect of this long term. Slightly more. Alright, silly me. Expecting things to work. Do I mill myself right now? I can't reanimate anything, so I guess there's no reason to, right? I don't have the minutes to reanimate. What does that do? Virus beetles? Okay. Am I gonna swing? Yep, always swinging. I will take this trade, right? Or do I mill myself? Should probably mill myself. Actually, no. I have something that's totally fine to reanimate in my graveyard. So I will do that. It lets me cast Sire of 7 Death soon. As in, literally next turn. Davriel, alright. That's a very strange one. Do you target yourself? No? Really weird to me. I don't get it. Why would you let me discard? That doesn't seem like it makes sense. That's odd. Alright, now we can just block this. Yeah. Well, their reanimate strategy is easier to accomplish, but it just doesn't get anything as scary as what we've got going on, so... Well, that's a typical draw. Yeah, we can just... Yeah, we'll just kill that. They can't block, so... Opponent thought about blocking. This doesn't give trample, right? No. Overlord or Sire? I'm just gonna do Sire. This seems like some kind of aggro deck or something. I don't know. Black-green small value is what it is. But the Overlord would be nice too, but I don't think I need that mana anyways. Yeah, I don't need the mana. They have them manually stacked triggers? It looks like they manually stacked the Croxa trigger. Yep, it just doesn't. We're sort of doing the same thing, except I get Sires and you get Shambling Guests. So far I've been pretty unimpressed with this commander. It's extremely punishing if you are a if you're playing against stuff that's like pseudo jank. Vein Ripper seems exceedingly problematic for this deck. Do I play Gilded Goose? Yes. Is Vein Ripper lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No, not quite. Is this the perfect 3 damage? Deal 3 to all creatures? Which I don't think I can afford to play around. Apparently not. No way. So... Vein Ripper hardcast? I should do it. No, I want to do it now. I want to do it now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 14. They didn't hit anything. Opponent's playing Sundering Titan. That's kind of nuts. Okay. I'm not convinced I have to leave back a blocker. I mean, I do have the Gilded Goose, technically. Although, swinging all out seems borderline pointless, actually. What am I doing? Yeah. I'm not... What are they going to do with that mana? They're not saving Chandra here. There's no way. Okay. So, we can play Ashnod's Altar. We can play Diabolic Intent. And then... Who knows what? So I have a ton of mana. I can just cast Ulamog. I don't know why that would ever be wrong. So let's do that. 1, 2... Wait, what? Oh, I have to do it... Oh, one at a time? Yikes. 2... 3... I don't even care about the One Ring. I'll just take out the, yeah. Okay, I don't have a good turn 1. I don't actually even have a appealing turn 2 either. It's not bad, though. I'm not gonna get a Surveil land here. Alright, well, this really needs to not die so I can play the game. That is not black mana. The heck does this do? Oof, if Ulamog wasn't in my hand would actually be really nice. So Dark Ritual is 5. And I can cast whatever I want. What is the best thing to cast right now? Probably Soviet Russia. Although this does give me a land if it dies, and that is actually very significant. I'm just... No. No. We're here for the Soviet Union. Let's share cards, opponent. Let us share cards. Oh, this is excellent. This is excellent. Oh, this is amazing. Alright. Yeah, that was definitely the right choice. You may discard, so I can play this first, and then they can't do it. Because then I just get a thing. Wait, did they do it? Oh, it's not what I thought it... Okay, never mind. It didn't work the way I thought it did. Party Thrasher. Alright, I thought it was card draw. Crucius is great, but so is Thoughtseize. I feel like Thoughtseize is better here. Yeah. We're like kind of cyberbullying this person. Emperor of Bones. Well, that stops my whole game plan, so... Mythweaver Pock or this thing? O'Hare is just very annoying. Let's play that. I mean, I'm taking the Bowmasters anyways, I think. This is all just pretty scary to play against, I think. Alright, they kill my 2-2, so they're not scared of Bowmasters. But it's not getting easier. It's not getting easier for my opponent. That's probably... Well, we can start with this attack, actually. Wow, they just took it? Bro, I'm not just taking that. You're crazy. Maybe you just have to. Maybe you just have to. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, yeah. Well, Slimefoot didn't do much, but oh my goodness. You know, maybe we should try playing this again. Is this tier 1 still? I got nerfed so hard. I wonder if it is in tier 1. Let's see what happens. Alright, that makes me really like my keep. That's for sure. I really like my keep now. Drew a good card, and it's another decent card. It's not amazing, but it is a card with text on it. Though I'm sure someone out there would say that was a wrong idea. And who knows, maybe they're right. Oh, don't also have a Minotaur, come on. Don't you dare. Alright. Runner for lands off the top, as is tradition with Glarb. Opponent has 1 blue mana. I think I cast Cultivator, so I should cast this first. Right? There's only 1 blue mana. And I need green, which is kind of annoying, but not that bad. I mean, this finds another color, so it's fine. Grave Expectations. Okay. You got it. Interesting. I'm going to change phases before I cast this card here. Let's get a black or a red. Probably a black. Okay. I'd be a bit surprised if they cast Glarb again. Alright, I lost my Grenzo, but we get a Volt... Oh, never mind. Wow. They actually took the card I could not cast. That is funny. They left me with Grenzo. I feel like that's insane. Alright. Knight's Whisper. Omniscience is funny. I can't really use it, though. We'll just take the Knight's Whisper. A little bit low powered, but, you know, can't always win the game. Alcatraz. Alright, well, Defense of the Heart is a thing, and Overlord is unstoppable, so they will get Defense of the Heart here. Can't do anything about it. Which does incentivize my opponent to not deal with my board. But they can easily just take 8, so they probably don't care about my board. I'm not worried about my opponent having Omniscience. If they get to Omniscience mana, I think the game's already done. Not worried about that. Alright, so I can tutor up... I don't have Casualties of War in here. I'm not really sure what I can find. But we're going to find out. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8 mana. And I believe there is stone cold no answer to that enchantment in my deck. Which is really bad. And also a bit disappointing. Yeah, if we had casualties, we would win right here, but we don't. So I could just take Ulamog. Wait, Cityscape Leveler. Chat. Why don't you say things to me? Why do I have to find them out on my own? Why do you do this to me? Yeah, I'm always blowing that up. There's no way I'm not. Now, I am also going to swing so they don't untap with Glarb. I've gotten enough Grenzo value. I don't want them to untap with Glarb. I'm not scared of their hand, and this sets them back an insane amount, so... And I can always get Grenzo back later. It's not like Slimefoot's not there. I do like Binding. I don't think Terra Sunder is that universal, but yeah, it's alright. I could be running Besiege You as well. Should just slide that in for free, essentially. What does this do? Destroy all creatures, editors, exile, so they can exile something. Looks like they immediately exiled Cityscape Leveler and not Grenzo, which I can immediately reanimate with the Liliana minus. And I think I will. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. They have 2 cards. If I draw a discard spell, I guess I'd just plus Liliana and mess up the assemble. It sucks to minus myself, but that has to be right, I think. Although, no, there's arguably nothing I could do that's better than this. I mean, even taking Vaultborn Tyrant would be ideal, but this is just way too good. Treasure Cruise, Brain Surge. Yeah, I like Treasure Cruise here. Can I cast it? I can. So, 1, 2... Okay. Alright. They can't put anything good in hand, because I'll just get rid of it with Liliana. This is the first time I've ever seen Runescarred Demon. That is notable. Alright, what did my opponent put in their hand? Let's see if they made a grave mistake. They did. Alright, so they put something in their hand that immediately they lost. Dark Ritual. Primeval Titan. Yep, that was a massive mistake from the opponent. They wanted to put something with like flashback or whatever. I don't know how they would have forgotten this. It's been in play forever. But, whoops, that was a massive mistake. So it does look like some kind of Sultai combo deck. Glarb is very odd for that, though, in my opinion. Oh, somebody has Pact of Negation in their hand. Oh, boy. No way. The heck is that? Milik 3 cards, there's no cards in it. Okay. One, two, three. So I can cast Final Parting. So I will. What do we want in the graveyard this time? Valgavoth this early is basically impossible to interact with. You know what we could just do, actually, is get Buried Alive and reanimate. Oh, wait a minute. Chat. I made a mistake. I thought they both go to my hand. Whoa. Alright. Alright. Clearly I'm exhausted. Clearly I'm in deep emotional distress. I forgot how my cards work. I forgot how my cards work, chat. I'm sorry. Alright, well, fortunately, we were just never punished. I'm gonna take a Tolly, not Brooding Spaghetti Lord. Alright, never punished. Never ever punished. Okay, yeah, I'm done. Alright, so this is very scary when your opponent doesn't interact with you, right? It doesn't take very long to do what you want to do. It did not feel, at least, that I needed a bajillion ways to consistently sacrifice my commander. And when you don't do that, it's nice to have ramp spells, even the treasure-based card stuff like you know, all the things that discard cards and make treasures, whatever. I can't think of a single one, but there's like 4 or 5 of them. You could do those, discard a big creature, you get treasure tokens, you draw more cards, you can find ramp spells, other big things to actually cast. But for sack outlets, wasn't really something I felt like I wanted, right? Especially when, if your commander can't resolve or whatever, you just have these completely dead cards in your hand that don't work without your commander. And those cards you want the least amount of, so you can function when your commander is dealt with, unless you don't care and you just concede when they mana leak your Slimefoot. I will say, today specifically, this happens on randomness of whatever, but I ran into like every other deck having mana drain. That happened a lot. And I had a lot of people that ran out of gas and then top decked like Farewell. So I really got the short end of the stick here in terms of just RNG outcome, but I don't want to press on that too much because, you know, it's a card game. It's random enough already. But we did get a little notably unlucky playing a lot of the games we played today with Slimefoot, which is unfortunate because it's going to bring out the me complaining part of playing Magic instead of actually trying to play Magic, so that's unfortunate. But outside of that, the other 50% of the games we played, not getting stopped dead in their tracks by mana drain, when your opponent interacts with you, you are kind of like that dude who crossed the Twin Towers with the on the stick or whatever with the rope. You know, like they just smack one side of that stick, you're tumbling to your death. You are really dancing on a thin line to get this to work when you're really focused on your graveyard having a creature to reanimate. You need a sapling, So if your opponent sweeps the board, you have to put this back to the command zone because you don't have a sapperling. And I really ill-advise playing cards that create sapperlings. I think there's one like fungal infection just because you can kill mana dorks. If it wasn't for that, and Ragavan, I guess. If it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't play this. And it's really the only one here. There might be more that I don't own. That, yeah, no, it's not even worth looking at them. It's just this, right? Like, if you're gonna run any, it's just this one. If we had Sprout Swarm in Magic Arena, Sprout Swarm could be reasonable as well, but we don't have Sprout Swarm. So, it's just fungal infection, and I don't think in any game I lost or won, fungal infection sapling token was going to change anything. Yeah, Tender Shrew Dryad is interesting. It's kind of like mid-range beatdown. It can produce scary sapperlings. I would say there's a fair amount of decks that would not like to play against it, so they could be poised to killing it, but there are a ton of ways to circumvent what that card is doing. But yeah, if that's something you liked, I like that card. I like Tender Shoot Dryad, but good luck. Good luck with that. So outside of that, the discarding creatures, or just putting creatures in my graveyard, was not difficult. I actually went a long chunk of this play session without Buried Alive, so that was another one I could have been running earlier. Forgot it existed, not gonna lie. But yeah, putting creatures in the graveyard was not really too difficult at all. And that means I really do not like milling myself. Cards that just do that are not really giving you... It's just not... It gets in the way of trying to like cast this and then swing with it and sack it and then reanimate something. Like, the chance of mill also completely whiffing, I don't know. It just didn't seem necessary. It wasn't necessary, and I think it's the weakest form of putting creatures in the graveyard, self-mill. So, aside from Mesmeric Orb, I think, in Altar of Dementia, because this mills while also sacking your commander. So this is excellent, but outside of those, like, I don't think. And when it came to actually sacrificing my commander, this is one of, I think, 2 or 3 commanders in the game your opponent never wants to actually like leave play. And there's a ton of opponents, a ton of people we played against today that, like, upon the first chance they could get, just decided to kill this. And that's like, just set it up for us. You can also simply let it sit there and block, and then your opponent can never swing into it, because if you have a creature that's scary, they don't want it to die. So I wasn't really concerned with the lack of ways of sacking Slimefoot. I really wasn't. I saw no graveyard hate, I don't think. I mean, there was like incidental exile and stuff like Farewell, but I didn't see like Ghost, Vacuum, or Relic, or Progenitus, or anything like that. I did see the Heist spell, but everyone just heists your face with it. They don't exile 3 cards out of your graveyard, but, you know, that is a card that I expect a lot of black decks to actually play, and it does have a second side of exiling, you know, 3 cards or whatever. It's a bit random, very random, but it does do that, you know. And I again expect to see this a lot in anything that has black in it. So it's one of those main deck cards that is at the detriment of this commander. So yeah, Malevolent Rumble could have been nice too. Same with Satyr Wayfinder. We were playing Grizzly Salvage, but Grizzly Salvage, in my opinion, was one of the weakest cards in the deck. So I would rather it be Rampant Growth. I would rather it be kind of anything like Rampant Growth. I wasn't sold on that kind of effect. I really wasn't. Brass Tunnel was nice. The Faithless Looting, right? Just getting rid of things that are already in hand and stuff. It's not like these are bad. I wouldn't say it's bad. It was one of the weakest cards in my deck. It really was. Every time I cast it, it was kind of disappointing. So it's a singleton 100 format. singleton 100 card format, so it's hard to, expect what you want to have happen consistently when what you want to have happen is like 3 different things, right? This in the graveyard, while also leaving behind saplings that have to be in play, while also having things in the graveyard to reanimate, and then you have to have the mana to reanimate, and you also have to do all of this before your opponent has mana drain, which is obviously impossible outside of Cavern of Souls. So, actually, I don't know if I was running Cavern. Was I? I was running Cavern, okay. This being uncounterable is decent, but it was nice that if it did get countered, I had other things to do, like simply play Jund mid-range stuff and then eventually cast big things without reanimating it. So I did like that approach, and I would like that. I think that's better than just going completely all in on this. I think going all in on this is a mistake, actually. I think it would hinder your win rate. I really believe that. So I don't know if this is one of those has multiple ways of playing it and both are viable or all are viable. I think something of the sort of what we were doing was probably the best, with, again, probably more draw, discard, treasure cards. Felt like maybe would have been the best, like big score, stuff like this is Seeds the Spoils. I think these are completely fine in this deck here, and probably better than some of the cards we had. Like, Binding is nice, but I wasn't running Interaction for a while because it's hard to weave that in while also trying to do anything. But if we're more in on the Jund mid-range side of things, then this is definitely more reasonable. It just feels odd to not be able to get away with Casualties of War, specifically, right? Like, I think that's one of those cards, you look at it and you're like, alright, can I run this card? Yes. Great. Can I run this card? No. Why is that? This is one of those commanders that is strange, because I think Casualties of War, for the most part, can go into a lot of decks like this one. And I think not running this means there could just be something slightly off about this list that might want to get looked into. But I guess the last thing I'll say is the reanimate targets themselves were not too crazy, which is a bit disappointing. I was even looking at other lists online, and I found a lot of lists that didn't have anything that I didn't. That, like, it just seemed weird that I thought there were way scarier things to do with this, but there's not, in my opinion at least, after having looked at basically everything. I'm not saying I ran the best of the best, but I don't know. I was a bit underwhelmed with the things I'm actually reanimating. That is to say, I think the other Ulamog should have probably been in here. I don't know how it would work, but I think it would. I think it would work, the other Ulamog. The new Lamog, because this one's actually not the first one. If we had the originals, I would be happy, but those, I think, shuffle in so you can't work them with this. So they wouldn't work, but outside of this commander, I would like the old ones. But Annihilator is... Oof, man, Annihilator feels real bad. Same reason Cyclonic Rift feels bad, right? So more of that, probably not the best idea. Grenzo, though. This card does not even really feel like it got nerfed. I kind of want to play this commander again. I don't know if it's still trapped in Tier 1. I have not played against it since it got nerfed. So maybe everyone ever is just not on this commander now. But most decks in Historic Brawl, they're slowly converging to nothing more than 3 mana. So I think this is just excellent. And it's not like you can't cast a big spell. If you got this in play, you have 6 mana. So you can just steal 6 mana cards and not feel bad about it. I don't know. I think this nerf is going to matter less and less with time. So it felt like Grenzo was one of the better things to reanimate. Honestly, it really was. It doesn't have any evasion, though, like Ulamog. It's not indestructible or whatnot. But it at least gets immediate value. Same with, like, Atali. Atali is very random, and I will say Atali kind of let me down, but, you know, Atali's still Atali. Alright, that's all I've got. So, let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.